Welcome to Foundations for a Decision, an effort for better citizenship responsibility. Today our focus will be to share with you the objectives and motivations of the different chapters of this video series. This is our effort to leave our grandkids with a how-to illustration of the civic responsibility of the action to vote responsibly. Many countries have lost their freedom and future because citizens were not able to perform a good homework before to vote. Our initial country, Venezuela, is one of those examples. Voting is a great responsibility even though it is a very simple civic act. Voting responsibly is a three-step process. Identify the set of policies that each one considers that reflect best my values and expectations for the community, for the family, and for yourself. The second step is to compare the policies proposed by candidates with the ones identified in the first step. And the final step is to vote for the option that best align with the voters' desired policies. Let's drill down a little bit in each step. Identify the policies that best fit my values and expectations is an evolving process. Values and expectations varies with age, education, and experience. From now on in this series I will be talking about the way I will implement these three steps in my case, as a way to illustrate the process in a realistic manner. By the way, I am enjoying my retirement. Let's start with my values and expectations as individual, relevant for policies in play in any election of a public servant. Freedom and individual responsibility are the two most important ones. Regarding my family, the most appreciated values are quality education, family values, and prosperity through hard work. Finally, for the community, my expectations and values are focused in respect to the law, tolerance, and autonomy. It is very important, in this first step, that the values and expectations identified have the following characteristics. Be very few, not a long list of wishes. Be transcendental, not requirements for instant gratification. And finally, be relevant for public policies, that at the end is what an election process at federal, state, and local level is all about. For the step 2, we need to identify the categories that connect my values and expectations with the practical categories that would make easy to compare the candidates' proposals with step 1. The first policy category that we will review will be climate change. Climate change policy is impacting 3 of the set of values and expectation that I have. The first impact is to my freedom because the climate change policy is trying to dictate things like what kind of car I can buy, what kind of food I can eat, how much heat or air conditioning I can consume. The second impact is in my expectation of prosperity through hard work. The use of materials for the clean economy, that are scarce, located in regions of political and economic instability, and controlled by enemies of USA, will make the cost of living more expensive. On the other hand, the government will tend to increase taxes in order to force an industrial change without the proper calculation of the impacts. The third impact is in the autonomy of my community. The energy dependence will control most of the variables that allows the growth of the economy and everyday lives like computers, light, heat, air conditioning, price of the food, price of transportation, among others. The next policy category that we will review in this video series is the basic education, known as K-12 in USA. This policy category is related to the individual responsibility value. The learning period during the K-12 education is vital to develop this value in my grandkids and in the kids of my community. This policy category is related to the family values because it is the teamwork between family and school that mold, in an integral way, the characters of the future citizens. Finally, the respect to the law is anchor in the civic and history learning in the basic education. The origins of the respect of the law start obey the family and school rules daily. The economy will be the next category that we will touch in this video series. For me, the economy conditions my freedom because if it is very regulated by the government, then my personal and my family development could be compromised. The other impact of the economy and my values and expectation is in the prosperity through hard work. An economy with high taxes and limits to created jobs will impact them. Finally, an economy that does not allow my community to access the good and services required for its full development will impact its autonomy. The next policy category that we will analyze is the international relationship or foreign policy. This policy category, if not managed properly, can impact not only my freedom but the freedom of each people in USA. We just watched how foreign policy of Germany has limited freedom of Germans with energy. Or how the current dependency of USA from semiconductors manufactured abroad could be catastrophic for the prosperity through hard work. Finally, the autonomy of our society could be at risk when trade and military alliances are not aligned with the interest of USA. Welfare program policy is quite important. Citizen must have a safety net for difficult moment that can happen in life. The safety net must behave as a trampoline for those citizens, in order to come back to their productive life as soon as possible, but not like a Velcro, where the citizens stay using those program as permanent way of life. The first impact in my expectations and values is in the individual responsibility. Users of welfare programs must remember that they are funded by the taxpayers, that eventually could need to use those programs, therefore, users must be responsible for a conscious use of them. The other connection to my values and expectations is the prosperity through hard work. User of these programs needs to figure it out soon how can they come back to productive life in order to stop the use of those programs as soon as possible. Finally, is the relevance to the respect of the law. Is quite important due to the tendency to abuse such programs. Policies around these programs must ensure that abuse of them will have harsh consequences. The next policy category will be healthcare. The first link to the values and expectations area is to the individual responsibility. Any responsible citizen must make plan to take care of his or her health. Nobody can expect that other members of the society contributing with tax money are obliged to take care of his or her health care. Family values and prosperity through hard work are other two links. Decisions about family development should be done, for any responsible family, taking in consideration the cost associated to potential healthcare needs of the family. At the same, working hard for prosperity requires a disciplined care of the health of the worker. State size is another important category of the 2024 decision. Budget deficit and the national debt will have an impact in our children and grandchildren if citizens do not force changes the growth of the bureaucracy and social spend. They will have to pay those in the future, therefore our family values will be impacted. On the other hand, the prosperity through hard work will be impacted by the increase of taxes, interest rate or financial instability. The next policy category that we will review will be the professional education. How the country enable path for its citizen becomes a productive individual is quite important. The first value to be touched is individual responsibility. A country cannot expect the contribution of a member of the society if there are not options to become one. Quality education. The other expectation is as relevant for the policies of professional education. The dedication to a career path requires that resources and time, therefore, the student expect, at the end of the process, the successful participation in the labor market. Finally, the autonomy of the community could be in peril if its members are not able to develop by themselves. The next policy category is the law enforcement. The policies around the enforcement of the law is key to warrant our freedom according to the Constitution. The respect to the law is perhaps the first responsibility of any citizen in order to sustain our society based on the Constitution. Finally, the enforcement of the law is the only way to ensure its respect. The protection of the community is based on the respect of the law. Law without enforcement is a dead law. The last policy category to be analyzed by the video series will be immigration. The first link to my values and expectations is to the respect of the law. Any person aspiring to share this country with me and my family, I expect that follow the law. Immigration is a vital policy for prosperity through hard work. People who want to live in USA must contribute to the prosperity of the country. That implies that their talent and education can help to the development of the country. Finally, immigration is very related to individual responsibility. Aspiring citizens needs to embrace the culture of USA. Many countries are experiencing issues of assimilation. Now that we identify the policy categories, it is required to drill down each one in order to establish the policy options that we would like to support, in order to be able to compare them with the policy options that each candidate will offer. That is the level that we need to demand to any candidate to public office. This is very important because the candidate that will win will not govern alone. That candidate will assemble a team that will execute the day-to-day work using the policy options promised during the campaign as the guide. We need to avoid the tramp to vote for personality or charisma, nor for talking points or social media messaging. Our policy options, for each of these categories, will be developed in a series of YouTube videos. Each category would require several short YouTube videos. Each category will end with a summary of policy options to be used to compare with the different candidates' options. Each one of the videos will include in its description the reference material used with the corresponding link. Remember to subscribe to our channel in order to receive the notifications when a new video will be posted. In the next video we will start the climate change category drill down. To communicate better our effort, we will break it down in 4 segments. Number 1. What is the source of the alarm? The source of the alarm is the Intergovernmental Panel Report on Climate Change. Number 2. Let's say the alarm is justified. Is it possible to have a timely transition? Number 3. Is it possible a transition that benefit everybody? Could it be possible an ethical transition? Number 4. What are then the policy options for a decision for 2024? Thank you for your attention to this program. We expect to have you in the following video of this series of Foundations for a Decision 2024. An effort for better citizenship responsibility.